To memorize 200 pages of the Quran, you might think you need to drop out of school, quit your job, pack up, and isolate yourself in the desert for a few years. But I managed to hit that 200-page mark right in the middle of university, balancing classes with a demanding part-time job. I possessed no special gifts for memorization. In fact, I didn't even learn how to properly read the Quran until much later in my life. I had no specific environment pushing me forward and very little free time. I initially struggled against a psychological trap called thinking in sessions. Looking at this daily calendar layout, you can see the issue. When your day is entirely consumed by school, work, and transit, finding a perfect, uninterrupted 3-hour block to sit down and memorize is a mathematical impossibility. If you wait for those open hours, you end up sitting in evening traffic with a completely fried brain, watching as unexpected daily tasks eat up whatever energy you had left. The day ends, and your plans remain unfulfilled. Making real progress required me to engineer a system where daily memorization became non-negotiable, regardless of how many things went wrong. I abandoned the long session entirely in favor of a micro-pocket architecture, systematically chipping away at the goal using the small, fractured moments already hidden inside my day. The first phase is the morning anchor. Before the day's chaos started, I used a narrow 15 to 30-minute window purely for revision. This locked in the previous day's progress while my mind was still fresh. The second phase exploits the dead time of transit. Whether walking across campus or stuck behind the wheel in traffic, I used passive listening. Having the audio play in the background primed my brain, warming up the exact page I planned to memorize later that evening. The third phase happens in the afternoon void. These are those common 30 to 45-minute gaps in the day that usually get completely swallowed up by mindlessly scrolling through your social media feeds. I used those blocks to capture whatever new memorization I could, even if it was only 4 lines. This side-by-side comparison chart shows how the math works out over weeks and months. On the left, waiting for a 3-hour gap results in 0 pages. On the right, stacking those fractions, 4 lines here, half a page there, creates a massive compounding effect. Memorizing a new page a day using those pockets is actually the easy part. But beware, because there is a dangerous hidden mechanism built deep into this exact process that can completely and utterly destroy your hard-earned progress. This chart illustrates the subscription fee of memory. The top line shows new pages rising steadily. The line underneath represents revision time, curving upward. If you don't scale up revision to match, it breaches your daily capacity, entering a red state of memory debt. As the months passed, my strategy shifted. The vast majority of my allocated time went toward paying this revision fee, rather than acquiring new pages. Raw memorization speed has no value without retention. Surviving the economy of memory requires aggressively budgeting time for revision above all else. My execution wasn't flawless. There were heavy weeks of school exams and brutal work schedules where I slipped up and fell off the routine entirely. Surviving these inevitable lapses requires a specific protocol of damage control. Instead of stopping completely when a full hour of revision became impossible, I downscaled my expectations. Limiting the session to 30 minutes ensured that the slip-up was temporary and that I never stopped entirely. When solo motivation failed, I relied on teachers and a dedicated community to pull me back onto the path. Artificial accountability provides the structure needed when your own willpower is fried at the end of the day. Many people walk away from the possibility of completing the Quran because they are waiting for a perfect, empty schedule that will never arrive. A chaotic schedule provides the necessary environment to build a resilient, lifelong system. If you want the resources and the accountability to begin that process, join the community linked below and start utilizing the time you already have.